We're at the North Beach Bowls Club. They won Metropolitan Club of the Year at the wonderful awards night we had just a few weeks ago. Why don't we take a look around, find out how they won it? Let's have a look.
Mark Duthie and President.
How long have you been President at the club?
Just finished my first 12-month term, so just going into the second term now. Yep.
Why did you become President?
I've been here 5 years and great club, and I've been in administration all my life, so there was a lot of things here that were excellent, but I could always see little improvements that we wanted to make. So I just felt there was areas that could be fixed very easily, just a matter of just getting in there and doing it. At the end of last year, we broke a lot of the club business down with actually Mike McLaughlin. So that process with Mike McLaughlin, who did Bowls WA strategic plan, was excellent for me, because it allowed me to focus on different areas which I thought needed doing. When we broke it down, during winter we have 26 members per rink, allocated per rink, whereas I think when I looked at other clubs it's somewhere between 13 and 5 members per rink. So when we had that many players wanting to play, it's a lot of players per rink. So we needed more green space. We had reached capacity with our pennant sides, so we want to finish putting B green into synthetic, and I think that'll allow the club to grow and give all the players a home ground advantage, have some events here that we're not having at the moment. We've got a grant out for that, waiting for an answer on that now, and that's going to allow a lot of growth for our members to get more green space. Allows our social bowlers to play more bowls during the week, so that's probably at this point the priority, is to get that green in.
Yeah, Graham McKenzie, I'm the secretary of the club. I think one of the things that this club's really excelled in is the synthetic greens. Having the two has made a huge difference. It provides wintertime activity across the board, and then that extends into the bar and into the club generally. It also allows us to have social events. We hire the greens out on a regular basis. We hire them out for community we have community bowls through the summer, as a lot of clubs do. From a personal perspective, I joined this club in 2017 actually it was, 2017. And we had one synthetic green which had just been redone, and that was that sea green out there. It was heavily used, of course, particularly through the winter months, and you actually had to book. If you wanted a social game during the winter, you couldn't get on the green unless you booked a week before. And that obviously prompted the club to look at another synthetic green. We were having grass problems with both the other two greens, with the normal sort of grass problems that clubs have. So we turned the A green, we got successful with a grant for that, and upgraded that one to a synthetic. And now we've actually had records of somewhere around 80 odd bowlers on a social day during the middle of winter, bowling on a regular basis. We have social bowls 5 days a week, right through the season. And that's been really good. We have a pretty good relationship with Our Lady of Grace over the road, and that actually has resulted in about 30 kids for a full term coming to learn the game of bowls, and we've managed to join their parents up. And I think word of mouth as well, just from the social membership. We have somewhere around 600 social members. We have 120 odd RSL members as well, many of whom have actually become bowling members of the club. We have a Probus meet here every month, and they've got about 50 members attend that meeting every month, and some of those actually end up becoming bowling members, some of them become social members. One of the other big successes for us, although it might seem small and insignificant, but Mahjong is played down every Friday, which started out with about 3 ladies and now has about 23 ladies every Friday. And again, this just brings people in the club.
Okay, my name's Mark Duthie and I'm the Entertainment and Promotions Officer here at North Beach. So this is the first year that I've been on the committee, so just the previous 12 months. So we've just had our usual club functions. So we've had Melbourne Cup and we've had a big Christmas party. I think we had about 135 people come along to that. And in addition to that, we've had a community open day, which was back in September. And the aim of the day was just to raise the profile of the club and to get people along to basically try bowls. So what we did with that, we had a system where we had an early bird registration, which worked really well. I think probably about 65 people pre-registered, which gave us a really good idea about how many people were going to rock up. You know, a little bit of uncertainty with that, with the preparation and being able to cope with the numbers. And then on the day, probably another 20 or so popped in just to see what was happening, and probably, you know, between 12 and 20 children throughout the afternoon that did some of the activities on offer. So there was face painting, had the rookie rollers kit out as well, and just a few things like that. So very popular day. And from that, we've actually had 26 new memberships. And following on from that, I think a number of those people took part in the Community Bowls program, and they also have had functions at the club as well.
RSL are a major part of our club here. They're here once a month. There's 100 members. They have their gunfire breakfast here on Anzac Day, which is huge. There's 300 or 400 people come through the place then. The local communities, the schools, the sand sports come through here. We've got Provis ladies that are here once a month as well, having we've got a games group that comes through on Fridays that play their stuff. But you know, just having community members through all the time, coming for meals or having a drink is very important.
I think one of the other really success stories we've had is probably our kitchen. I think our chef, which is a subleased kitchen arrangement, but our chef, who we've looked after, particularly through the COVID period, we've certainly looked after him. He's a Vietnamese guy, and we've encouraged him to do Vietnamese menu, or at least partially Vietnamese menu, along with the traditional palmies and things like that. But again, that's just word of mouth, and it gets people into the club.
What I could see was we had the opportunity here to actually run a good business. In a sense, we had enough people to keep a kitchen fully going. We had a professional bar staff in place, and I just think there was just some opportunities to go forward and make things even better, make things more fun, and make North Beach more competitive. So that's you know, that's the goals, and they still are the goals. Yeah. We've got quite a good setup. We've got obviously TAB in the corner. We've got our Beach Bistro kitchen, which is open Wednesdays and Friday nights, and also works through Pennants, does all our stuff for Pennants during the week, and does functions, celebrates all sorts of functions during the week. They cater for that, so that's great. We've got community groups here that come in, like I said, RSL, Mahjong groups. Those groups come in and play here. You've got social members come through, corporate groups come through and play bowls. So, you know, yeah, there's quite a lot of activity.
What can you tell us about the electronic scoreboards?
It's my wife and I are the owners of the electronic scoreboards. We've asked North Beach if we could trial them here. There was an idea I had 5 years ago. Sat down with the programmer, and they bring a lot of energy to the club. They're easy to use. There was some hesitation at the start. People were scared of technology, but now, you know, they all love them. So, you know, it does bring a lot of energy to the club.
Douglas Gregory Shepherd. I'm currently the treasurer of the club, just re-elected on Sunday. I was house and grounds for a year prior to that, and then I had a bit of a gap for a few years, and I was treasurer for 8 years prior to that. Joined the club in 2007 with a group of people from the tennis club, and my wife was related to one of those people that got us involved. I was just about to enter retirement and looking for something for the two of us to do together, and that's what got us here. A couple of years in the club doing social bowls and a little bit of Pennants, and then nominated for committee, and been on it for pretty much, this is my 13th year on committee. Look, it started probably 2008-9 roughly, where Cecilia Gamina and probably Leonie, at the time, Leonie Wilson, started to talk about meals at the club. There was another lady involved, Wendy Spratt, and we started doing once a month Friday night meals where we'd basically cook it ourselves. Laurie Harrington supplied some fish one night, and I think we served 142 fish and salad meals to members at a pretty reasonable price, and that became a regular thing. And then eventually saw that as a way of getting people into the club to make sure they kept going through the off season, not just having a peak in the seasonal income to the club, but also spreading that over the full year. I can't quite recall the year, but the City of Stirling opted to renovate our kitchen, which was pretty archaic at the time, and they spent quite a sum of money getting it up and running, and at that point we had the option of either running it ourselves or letting it out on a lease basis. Decision was made at committee to put it out to tender, and we had our first lease in there for about 3 years, and it developed from there. We've had 3 or 4 different operators over the time, and they've all been successful in their own time. It gets back to manufacturing a need for people to come to the club off pennant days and off bowling days.
So our relationship with the City of Stirling is fantastic. It doesn't come it comes easily for me. I worked in local government for 42 years, so I'm well aware of councils and how they operate, and we're very lucky. The City of Stirling has a fantastic council, has a really supportive mayor. Mark Irwin is just really good, and the city has a great bunch of staff as well. I think they're always eager to help. They're very eager. They're always keen to make sure we get what we ask for. They have always been supportive in grant applications. They just a really helpful council, and the fact that we invite the mayor down here and our local ward councillors down here 3 or 4 times a year, have dinner with them, just to they're the sort of relationship building exercises you've got to go through, but we enjoy them. They're nice company people as well.
My name is Malcolm Dempsey. Currently I am the patron of the club, but I've held every office in the club over my time here. I'm past president, yeah. Chairman of selectors, etc., captain, club captain. Yeah, you name them all, I've done them all. I joined in 1972, and I've played every pennant season since. And recently I've got awarded with a 50 pennant season badge, which is new in the club. Doesn't often happen to join one club and stay there that long. I knocked back many offers years ago when I was bowling really well to go to other clubs, and never took up the opportunity because I enjoy it here at North Beach. I only know back in 1972 onwards, it was a fairly young club in those days, but it was a sportsman's club, and I'd only been in the club 12 months, and I was told by the president of the sportsman's club that they've earmarked me to be the next president of the sportsman's club. So after 2 years I was president of the North Beach Sportsman's Club, which I held for 6 years, and during that period we built the club as it is today. Was established in that reign, and it has not changed at all in shape or size, just an upgrade on the inside of the club over all that time. The bar has been done up, and just general maintenance. The club is on top of the tree for maintenance. It's very good. As you can see, having a look around, it looks a treat.
Tell us a bit about your second period of presidency.
Yeah, I was approached by the City of Stirling councillor. Called him at home and had a coffee with me and told me we were in serious trouble. He said, you know that the council is looking at taking North Beach over because we've got too many clubs, and we've got a club that's going downhill fast, can hardly pay our bills. And he said, we want you to come back. And I said, who's we? And he said, the council wants you to come back as president of the club. And I said, and what am I going to do if I come back as president? How am I going to get it on its feet if you're going to close it down? If I don't get it going within a couple of months, you're going to close the joint down. And he said, no, I've got permission to tell you we have a moratorium, If you take it over, you'll get a straight run. As long as you're showing progress, we will not take over the club. So we come back and we did some drastic changes, like putting out a full day's bowls, put a poster in every letterbox from the whole of the district, inviting people to come down and have a beer, a sausage sizzle, a game of bowls for $10 and get 12 months social membership as well. We had a lot of success and the club started rolling, and due to the great support of the members we had, they rallied together. They had food nights on Friday nights and different nights, and they really took to supporting the club. It was a great time, and ever since then the club has been right on track as one of the top clubs.
Catherine Sullivan. I am now a life member as of last year, and I've just played bowls here since probably 1965, and my parents were foundation members. They were farmers, and when Mum moved to Perth after I left school, then she was here, forever. And then I spent 4 years in the Navy, and when I came home I had to give up all sport because I got really bad asthma in Sydney, and so I used to cart her around everywhere because she didn't like driving in Perth. And she said, rather than sit and watch, why don't you play? And so then I started playing, and luckily, I picked it up straight away and did reasonably well.
At North Beach for 2 years, and back in probably the mid-2000s I played for a couple of seasons.
6 or 7 years. I started out 1 year just doing social bowls and then decided to play pennants.
I started in 1970 at Beacon Country Club.
I started in 2010.
2007, 2008, about that time. I don't think I'd put a bowl down socially or otherwise before I joined, and I probably didn't intend to get too involved initially. My wife was very keen. I probably came along to just get to know it, but pretty soon got wrapped up in it.
In North Eastern Wheatbelt I was a farmer. I played bowls because I was vice president of the club, and they needed an extra player. They only had 15, and there's a pennant game coming up in another 7 or 8 days. And they said, Mal, you've got to help us out. Join the bowling club. And I said, I don't want to play bloody bowls. Anyhow, I got talked into it, peer pressure. And so they got me some bowls up and stuff on the train. So I got my gear on Friday, went to Wild Catcham to play pennant bowls, the #1 pennant. On the Saturday we got creamed 57-3, and I thought that's a crap game. But anyhow, we persevered and we ended up having a couple of good years.
It was something for my wife and myself to do. I just recently retired, and it was something that we could do together. It's one of the few sports that probably men and women can play equally as well as one another at.
My husband played at the club, and I'd already met a few people from the club, and I actually thought that might be something that I'd be interested in.
Really, my wife and I had made a decision that when I retired we got into some sport or some institution or involvement that we both could participate in, rather than one of us going one way and one of us going the other. We wanted to do that jointly, and that's really the initiative that came along with friends joining the club.
Because I love sport, and being with really bad asthma I couldn't play all the running sports that I played, and bowls was easier, which it was easier for me to play, and so that's why I took it up, just wanting to be involved in sport.
Well, prior to bowls I was a tennis player and a golfer, and I actually had a farming accident and lost my left eye, which took golf and tennis away. So when my father turned 90, we hired the Kalamunda Bowling Club and had a bowling day. He's a bowler there, and I decided that was a challenge that I could take because I knew no different, so I started playing bowls.
What do I like about bowls? I like the competitive side of bowls and the personal challenge of bowls.
I love playing bowls. I love playing with my family. My father and I have played sport together all our life. We farmed together all our life. We haven't played as much bowls as what I would really like to, but we do play bowls together, and it's fantastic. I think the The best person I like practicing with and playing with is my wife Margaret. We've played quite a lot of tournaments together, and I know every time Margaret's bowls she's trying, and she knows every time I bowl we try, and we never have any issues. It's always good fun. So every day we bowl together, it's a good day.
Oh, it's easy to play, and it's suitable for all ages, and you know, like a lot of people don't start until they're older. You know, I was only 26 when I started.
I'm probably not a super competitive person, but I certainly like to be amongst people and having a good team involvement. I've been skippering for a few years, and I like to make sure that my team's happy with what they're doing, that they're happy with my involvement, they're happy with the way we're running, and certainly that fellowship is a big part of it.
What I like about it, I think it's a game that you can learn really quickly and be good at, but it's a game that takes you a lifetime to be very good at. And just, I guess, the intricacies of the game that just make it really challenging. And it's also a game, of course, that, like I've said, I think, I shouldn't say that, it's a game that both men and women can bowl equally as well at. And I know, as an example here, we had a night where the Premier League men played against the Premier League women, and I believe the Premier League women did them. So, you know, that attracts you to the game. And the game's different day to day. You can have a really good day one day, and the next day you go out and you just miss by a centimetre, and it completely changes your game.
I joined the club because I'd actually spent a bit of time at the club because my husband played here at North Beach, and I'd actually met quite a few of the other players, and I just thought, you know, it would be something that I'd be interested in doing.
Well, when I came down to Perth, when I sold the farm, I went into real estate, and I started a little office in Scarborough, and I was a member of the Scarborough Sportsman's Club, and I was only playing tennis down there, and I thought I'll give tennis a bloody go instead of bowls for a while. And I was driving around looking at real estate one day and drove past this little tiny club in North Beach, and I stopped and I thought, gee, that looks like a country club. So I walked in, asked how much it is to join. A few blokes at the bar, so I joined on the spot, and I've been here ever since.
We joined North Beach after looking at a couple of other clubs. Both my wife and myself felt North Beach when we walked in the door. It's a really big, open, bright, cheerful clubhouse, and the staff were more than happy to help us. Introduce us to people at the club, introduce us to the coaches, and get us out there on the green as quick as they could.
My parents were both here, and we lived just up the hill.
Joined North Beach. Well, funny enough, it was probably my son-in-law who said a good club for you would be North Beach. It wasn't where I originally started in Gilderton, Moore River, and there was one club in Perth. Well, there was always Osborne Park. That's where I was always going to go. But my son-in-law said you should have a look at North Beach. So when we came down here and had a look, it made a lot of sense. It was everything that we had in the country. It was an equal gender balanced club. It was a family club. It was a very friendly club, and just fitted exactly what we wanted.
My favourite part of the club is basically just all the great people that we have here at North Beach and the friendships that I've developed, you know, throughout the time that I've been here.
I think inclusivity is part of the deal for North Beach, and that particularly across the men and the women's bowls. With 100 odd lady members bowlers, and about 150 men pennant bowlers, and then another 50 of each gender who bowl socially, it creates a really strong club, and it just, for me, it makes my wife feel comfortable here because there's a strong cohort of women who are very successful on the bowling green as well. So it would be fair to say, I think the fact that as husband and wife, you feel very welcome at this club.
I think that just the fellowship around the place. Everyone knows everyone. You see people come in, there's groups of people that always sit together on a Wednesday night or a Saturday or Friday night. People are happy to get involved, and the fellowship that you feel with pretty much everyone in the club. You get to know people very quickly and get to know their own idiosyncrasies and personalities, and that's really what I enjoy.
Well, socialising is my favourite part, but I certainly do love the bowls. You know, I love the sport, so it's good.
Just the camaraderie, and I run a Wednesday morning when I sort of decided I'd sort of pull back on what I played in, because the newer bowlers didn't have anything that they could be involved in, and so I started a Wednesday morning 12 months a year, and the girls come down, we have an hour's bowls, and then we come in and have coffee and afterwards, and and get your new bowlers in. And eventually a lot of them go into playing pennants, but they've got that bit of experience, where there wasn't really a lot for them before that, and I just felt I was giving something back to the club that's always been good to me.
Well, I enjoy the fellowship. I think bowls is a fair bit about fellowship as well as enjoying the skill of the game. I get great enjoyment out of the bowls over the years. You look forward to it when you were working, coming down to club and relaxing. And now when you're retired, when you get to the retirement age, you look forward to coming down and socialising with the members, having a good game of bowls, travelling the car together, various clubs. And over the years I've made some outstanding friendships that have lasted right through until the current stage. Superstars of bowls, and they're still great mates of mine. So I love the fellowship of the bowling club.
What keeps me here is probably the level that I'm involved in the club. So not only the bowls, but also being on the committee. So that's basically what keeps me here.
The fellowship. I suppose I'm a volunteer by nature. I've always been involved in those things with school kids and all that sort of stuff. So I like to get involved in the club. I like to see it succeed, and I like to make sure that I put my fair share of involvement into that rather than just sitting back and doing nothing.
Well, I think I've involved myself pretty heavily now in the club, taking on the role of secretary. But look, what keeps me here, I guess, is again the ability to play all year round, the ability to play competitive bowls with a bunch of great people. There's not too many organisations that you can go to where you can honestly say there's probably not a single person that you dislike, and it'd be fair to say that about North Beach. There's not anybody here that you can actually honestly say you should dislike.
Oh, there's plenty who keep me here. Look, the social aspect of sport has always been the most important thing to me. I mean, I've been very competitive, but the social side of it is very good. And you can walk down this club, there's always people to sit with, there's always laughter, it's always friendly, and there's no place that you would want to be apart from at North Beach. It's great.
The highlight this year is most likely winning the Bowls WA Large Metropolitan Club of the Year, closely followed by the fact that our One White Ladies Tuesday team won the pennant flag as well.
For this season, the fact that at 88 years of age I could play every game from second division. I've played second most times, or third division, and play every game Thursday and Saturday at my stage of life and enjoy every one of them.
Probably winning the Club of the Year for the club. I don't know if it's a highlight or a low light, but I'm back in the treasurer's job, so thrown into the deep end again. But look, the club winning the Club of the Year, we had tried it once before, and we've always prided ourselves on how we present ourselves as a club, and I think get that recognition was great.
I think this year there's a few. I think on the greens, the fact that we didn't get any demotions, we were successful. The ladies club has been very good. The ladies side of bowls has been very good. But again, I think the facilities here are really good. You can play bowls all year round. The kitchen's available, all year round. Not every day of the week, of course, but the food that they serve is outstanding. The relationships that you have here now, that you build with people, keeps you at the club.
What's the highlight for you this year?
This year, watching the girls win the flag and the first white, and I was involved probably 3 years ago when we won the flag in First White. And just, you know, being in the club where the club's done really well. You know, for the first time ever, we've had 4 first divisions.
Oh, I think the highlight is definitely winning this award and seeing I think Clive said at the awards night there was probably quite a lot of members who felt they probably could have won it before and hadn't. I don't know that everyone actually fully understands the process to win Bowls WA Club of the Year, but certainly, you know, there was a lot of joy through the club for actually winning that award. I think they're all very proud of it.
I think we won the award because we've had, you know, a great year on the green, but also off the green as well.
I'm pretty sure they've won the award because we've been knocking on the door for so long. Since 2010-11 when we started to really fire, I thought that we were shaping up to be Club of the Year because the fellowship in the club, we had not one pennant loss, no relegations for the whole club. We didn't get many promotions, but we had a lot the year before, so to hold every one that we did was an outstanding achievement. I think we've got tremendous management. I think the president and his wife are a great combination, and the office bearers of the club are all doing everything they should be doing, and quite frankly the club is firing, and I think that's great.
Oh, look, it's about relationships for me. I think our relationships that we've built with the council, I think our relationships with Bowls WA is stronger now than it has been in the past. We want to be a future forward-looking club. We want the game of bowls to succeed, and we know the peak body's a key part of that, and we're really trying to build a strong relationship so we can work towards looking at how we can improve the game of bowls.
They're just a very friendly club. You know, there's everybody, you know, seems to get on quite well. You know, you have bits of differences, you know, which is in any club, and but you know, people are prepared to, you know, bog in, volunteer when it's needed, and that makes a club. You know, we have very few paid staff here. You know, basically everything that's done is voluntary.
I think there was a very good presentation put up by Margie, which encapsulated everything that the club's done in the last 12 months. The ladies had an exceptional year from a bowling point of view, and we have expanded our involvement with outside institutions, Probus, and a few other things that have brought new members into the club, and we've got continued involvement despite a lot of things. This club still has a growing number of people when a lot of clubs are struggling, and I think we've been really keen to promote that, and I think that's recognition of our efforts in that regard.
Oh, look, I think Northmead has a lot of fantastic qualities. I think from it's got a strong membership, it's got an excellent social membership, way more than what I understood when I took the role on as president. I think we've got around 85, 90 social members bowling consistently, which gives the club a lot of energy during the week. But I think you know that the governance of the club in the past and in the current form is excellent, and I think there's been a lot of good people put a lot of good things in place at North Beach, and I think it'll go well in the future as well.
No one sits alone at the North Beach Bowling Club.